In the town of Chundari, a strong belief surrounds the vengeful spirit of a woman known as Stree. Every year, during a 4-day religious festival, it is said that she prowls the streets, calling out to the men of the town and causing them to vanish if they turn to look at her. To ward her off, residents inscribe "O Stree Kal Anna," which translates to "O Lady, come tomorrow," in blood on their doorways. Additionally, men are advised to stay indoors after 10 p.m. and, if they must venture out, to do so in groups. This practice reflects a reversal of the typical safety precautions usually recommended to women. The film opens in a small village at night, where a strange message is scrawled on nearly every wall, reading "O Stree Kal Anna." A man named Prakash steps out of his house to relieve himself in the woods when he suddenly hears his name whispered in an eerie voice. Panicking, he glances back, and vanishes. In the next scene, we meet the protagonist, Vicky, who's out for a morning jog. Along the way, he sees a man painting the same message on a wall and asks about it. The man explains that the message protects houses from Stree's wrath. Vicky, dismissing it as folklore, sees this as outdated superstition unfit for modern life. Vicky and his father run a small tailoring business focused on women's clothing. Though his father considers himself a master in the craft and takes pride in the work, Vicky is hesitant to make it his career. Later that day, Vicky is approached by a strikingly beautiful and enigmatic woman, credited only as the "girl with no name," and is immediately smitten. She flirtatiously asks him to sew a lehenga for her and subtly suggests he meet her at the temple that evening. That evening at the temple, she meets Vicky again and gives him an unusual list of items to gather by the next day, including brandy, meat, datura flowers, lizard's tail, and a white cat fur. Later that night, during a boys-only gathering, one of the group, Narendra, is suddenly taken by Stree. The next day, Vicky enthusiastically shares a love letter he wrote with his friends, Bittu and Jana. But Bittu finds her bizarre shopping list suspicious and starts to wonder if she might actually be Stree, a theory that Vicky quickly brushes off. That same night, Vicky encounters the girl once more, ready to present her with the list of items she had asked for. He hopes to deepen their romantic connection, but just as things seem to spark, she inexplicably vanishes, leaving him bewildered and alone in the dark woods. Meanwhile, his friends Jana and Bittu are desperately searching for him. After a fruitless hunt, they decide to head home, but in a shadowy alley, disaster strikes as Jana is ensnared by Stree. Anxiety grips Vicky as he begins to suspect the girl's true nature. He confronts her, but she slips away again like a wisp of smoke, deepening his unease. Determined to save their friend, Vicky, Bittu, and Rudra, the town's librarian, embark on a quest for answers. They stumble upon a tattered book titled Chundari Puran in Rudra's library, revealing the chilling tale of Stree and mentioning an ancient fort linked to her legend. Vicky recalls the fort from a romantic outing with the girl and feels an unsettling pull to investigate. As they arrive at the fort, a sense of dread washes over them. Stree confronts them, driving Bittu and Rudra away with her fearsome presence. Just as she prepares to attack Vicky, she hesitates, caught off guard by the love and respect reflected in his eyes. In a surprising twist, she is repelled by the girl's powerful spell. Later, the girl reveals her tragic mission. For 3 long years, she has sought to vanquish Stree after losing someone she held dear, a revelation that clarifies her haunting presence during the festival. This confirms that she and Stree are not one and the same, but rather 2 distinct entities locked in conflict. After that escalation and tussle, Stree releases Jana. Yet, the reprieve is short-lived, as the next day brings an alarming wave of disappearances among the men of the town. As the tension escalates, it becomes evident that Jana is still under Stree's sinister influence, exhibiting violent outbursts that shock his friends. In a moment of madness, he erases the word "Kal," tomorrow, from the protective inscriptions on the doorways, leaving only the haunting phrase, "O Stree Anna, O woman, come," effectively summoning the wrath of Stree and inviting chaos into their lives, causing the sad disappearances. Determined to find a lasting solution to save the town, Vicky, Bittu, Rudra, and the girl decide to seek the wisdom of the book's author, Shastri. When they consult him, he unveils the tragic tale of Stree. She was once an extraordinarily beautiful courtesan, the object of desire for every man in town. In time, she found her true love, a man who cherished her soul rather than her beauty, and they were set to wed. But on their wedding night, their happiness was brutally cut short when envious townsmen murdered them both. Ever since, her restless spirit has roamed, seeking her lost love and exacting revenge by abducting the men of the town. Shastri then speaks of a prophecy regarding a savior, detailing his traits, and to their surprise, Vicky seems to fit the description perfectly. However, when Shastri reveals that the savior is the son of a courtesan, Vicky's world shatters. His friends reluctantly confess that he indeed carries that lineage, igniting a fire of rage and shame within him. Enraged, he storms out, feeling betrayed and lost. In a haze of anger and alcohol, Vicky confronts his father, who quietly acknowledges the truth of Vicky's heritage. This revelation deepens Vicky's inner turmoil, leaving him feeling even more isolated. But as the day progresses, he begins to recognize his father's love and sacrifices. With a newfound resolve, Vicky decides to embrace his identity and save the town that has accepted him, determined to confront the darkness threatening their lives. The group devises a daring plan to confront Stree, using Vicky as bait for her unfulfilled honeymoon. Initially reluctant, Vicky comes to terms with the idea after realizing that Stree is simply searching for love and respect. They set the stage at Vicky's house, dressing him up like a groom to draw her in. As they prepare, Stree arrives, creating chaos through Jana for the group hiding nearby, and lures Vicky away to her fort. The friends quickly pursue them. Once inside, Stree attempts to close the distance between her and Vicky, but the girl throws a magical powder at her, rendering Stree unconscious. In that moment, with Stree vulnerable before him, Vicky hesitates to strike. He reflects on the injustices she has faced at the hands of the village, understanding that her quest for revenge stemmed from their wrongdoing. He refuses to perpetuate the cycle of violence. Touched by his compassion, the girl suggests that he sever Stree's long braid, the source of her power. Just then, Stree awakens and lunges at the girl, attempting to strangle her in fury. In a decisive moment, Vicky cuts off her braid, and Stree dissolves into thin air. In her defeat, she releases all the men she had abducted, finally breaking the curse that had haunted the town. The following day, the group is honored for their heroic efforts, but the girl chooses not to join the celebration and decides to leave the town. Vicky rushes to the bus stop, desperate to persuade her to stay, but she gently declines, assuring him that they will meet again someday. As he bids her farewell, he realizes he forgot to ask her name once more. On the bus, as she prepares to depart, she mysteriously merges Stree's braid with her own hair before vanishing into thin air, hinting at her true identity as the witch seeking Stree's power, which she finally possesses now. The next year, Stree returns to Chundari, only to be met with an unexpected sight, a statue of herself standing proudly at the town entrance, accompanied by a new inscription, "O Stree Raksha Karna, O woman, protect us." This gesture of reverence and respect causes her to pause, choosing to refrain from entering the town, perhaps for the first time feeling honored rather than hunted.